Thank you so much for agreeing to have a conversation with us on the house. We're very excited that midweek you've taken time out to have a conversation with us. And for me personally, I was very excited because every time I have a conversation with you, I know I've had a very fun evening. It's never a boring conversation with Emma close by.
Okay. Okay, shoot the question first.
So the first question that we ask everybody who sits across here is, what is that one question you're tired of answering? That one question so many people ask you, and you know you have to answer it, but you're not having that much fun answering it.
What is that solar powered community that you made? And you know, I have to keep on explaining this is something new, so it never tires me to explain it, and it gives me the opportunity to expand on my other innovation. I don't mind it, so I just keep on answering it again and again.
So what are solar communities?
We call our company the technology housing provider. Why? Because the first technology we provided is a solar powered community. And people cannot understand what that is. What it is that it's a whole subdivision that has solar solutions inside. And it's not that easy because from the very start, you've got to retrofit your subdivision that all the solar rooftops, you know, should be oriented to the sun. And then there has to be some kind of restrictions. And we have to hire colliers to do the property management in order that people will not violate the restrictions that we have set up.
Yeah.
So for instance, if you have a solar park community, your neighbor cannot put third floor because the solar,
sunlight on your roof will,
the solar will cover that. And then we have to study historically what is the real appliances of typical low-cost housing. So we did a lot of research. In fact, we did an R&D with the Belgians, who was my first partner. So that kind of R&D produced the solar park community that now gives 31% savings for each household.
That is, I mean, that's incredible, right? 31% is a very, very large impact on any affordable property seeker's savings piece. But do you feel like consumers understand this from the beginning? How much knowledge gap is there in the market? Sustainable is a word everybody's using. I don't think a lot of us understand it too well, right?
Very few understand that among developers. What they understand is it's more expensive, it's an added cost, where it's not actually an added cost because it's matched by the electrical bill of the affordable housing buyer. So if the solar solution will be paying $1,200 a month for the amortization of the solar together with the house, just for the solar, it's $1,200, and then the bill is about 3,000 pesos. So, you know, the people saves 1,000 or 1,500 pesos a month, and it's not an added cost because it's, you know, it takes care of the cost of the electricity bill.
Yeah.
So the other obstacle is that it's very hard to understand.
Yeah.
So anytime you say wattage, solar wattage, kilowatt hour, you know, a typical housewife would not want to listen to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the only time that I started learning about my kilowatt hour in my house is when I started the solar business.
Yes.
Because I had to put up a solar company in order to make it happen. I started really trying to learn my electric bills in the house. And the first thing I did is to put up also 3 kilowatt solution in my house. So when my bill was about 18 to 20,000, it went down to 5,000. I said, "Oh my God!" So you know, then you start learning why. By the way, we're almost 1,000 homes now that we are installing the solar, and there are a lot of homeowners now that are living there, and many of the housewives, they really measure the amount of solar electricity that comes in their house. So what happened was they know more than the developers. So that we're just going around. In fact, in Facebook, where Lamudi is also. Well, they really asked the question is that, why are you not doing it in our province, or why are you not doing it in our city? Because, there are developers there, but they're not doing it. Because word is really going around all these buyers that the solar powered community is really giving them a lot of savings. Well, Bhavna, we're tracking all the data of the savings of all our home buyers every month. So we have like 1 year of historical data on how much savings these people are getting. So that's how we came up with the 31%. But the most important thing is that even with the 31%, they're able to also buy all the appliances, which a middle income
person cannot do very.
Yeah. So before there were, my low-cost housing buyers would just have a small refrigerator, just enough to put their
basic,
food,
yeah,
every day, and then they go to the market every day. So now go to the solar power community. All of their refrigerators are 10 cubic, washing machine,
nice,
and then 19-inch TV, and guess what? Air conditioned. So it's really fantastic, the improved lifestyle. And this one is really not expected. We expected the savings for them, and that they can use it for their educational and for entertainment and to improve their lifestyle for new appliances. We expected that. What is that? We didn't expect that women become empowered. And we interviewed 46 homeowners in our community. 20% of them started having home businesses. And one was making 60,000 a month for catering services. So she was using a big refrigerator, using all of this, and then having that kind of income, even much more than to pay their house, because she was only paying 7,000 a month for the house. So we have 20% of these housewives
who basically become micro entrepreneurs and who said, I have more appliances, a better lifestyle, lesser struggles, and I can start something else.
Yeah, because of the cheaper electricity.
Yeah,
they were able to think about that. I mean, just a simple ice candy would give them 3,600 a month. So, that thing was not expected. I didn't really think about that. But when it started coming out in the subdivision, I said, oh wow, this is really giving women, more pride in having their own businesses. The other result of the solar park community is that when electricity is cheaper, the kids, the students, they study longer. Because the low income, they tend to really save on electricity. They say, stop studying, you're using too much electricity, go and sleep. But now, because of that, they're able to even buy their computers because of the savings. There's one there that even got an honor.
Why did you get into the solar business?
So maybe it started when I was younger. When I was probably 6 or 7 or 8, I would just walk to one of the neighbors and then buy their roses and then sell it off to my classmates. And then I was very successful in that. So whatever I make, I would buy candies that are, these candies that you can break. And I would buy a lot of that and go back to the school and also sell them.
Okay.
So my business grew, so I started buying paper dolls. So it improved. So I was selling paper dolls, and now it became more evident. And the teacher stopped me and said, well, you're going to get out of school if you don't. You're going to expel you if you don't stop selling. My real first job in marketing was selling heavy equipment with Ayala Group. And I was the only girl, I was the only lady there, and all of them were engineers. But I sold, the top. I was selling all the.
Yeah.
I was telling all my people, said it's not bad to wait when you want to sell. So I would sit there. The director would see me. That little girl sitting there was probably 21, 22, and I sold 200 of these Land Rover in Central Bank. I couldn't forget that. It was, I didn't know the director. It was just, see, the director was seeing me, you know, really persistent. I was just seated, look at him, hello, sir, you know, good evening, sir. Then he said, who's that girl, you know? And then he would see me there. When I was selling heavy equipment, one of the ones I sold to was a city mayor of Legazpi City. Because one of my jobs was to package this with the governor, city mayors. And I sold to this city mayor, but I got sold to. I got married to him. So
Wow,
I got married to the city mayor, and that was the end of my career. But it didn't stop me. So when I got to Bicol, I started the first poultry, because we didn't have any poultry in you know, I'd like to do things that's not there. So at that early stage, I was doing that. And then I started the Montessori. When I went to Bicol, there was no Montessori. So I said, oh my God, how can I give birth here? There's no Montessori, you know. So
where will my kids go to school?
Yeah, exactly. So I put up the Montessori together with my best friend. So when I was already successful and I was doing subdivisions here, I have a friend who's Danish. So I would be traveling a lot to Europe, and I would see all these houses with solar. And they're, you know, they're winter, it's cold. And why do they have solar? And you know, so I come back and said, why can't I put solar in my small houses? And you know, and this was six years ago. And one of my Danish friend, she's the wife of the owner of North Wind, you know, the windmill. So they're both Danes. And he says, you know what? I believe in your concepts. I said, you know, I want to put solar to my small houses because they deserve it. So everything that I do was really for the low cost and all that. And others would say you're wasting your time because 6 years ago solar was very expensive.
Especially for the low cost housing.
Especially for the low cost. So, but I didn't stop. I went to China. I went to Denmark. So I started my solar 6 years ago, and it's all small solar. You know, I was just 50 watts. It's just on my own. I said, 50 watts, what can it do? It could give 3 lights and a charger, for the phone.
For the phone.
That's enough.
Yeah.
And you know, guess what? I started putting that in hundreds of homes. And during the big typhoon, it's only my houses that have lights. Because they have, at the time, it was acid battery. The Belgians came and said, what are you doing? What is this lady doing? 50 watts, and you know, they're making megawatts. And so I said, you know, I said, Gino, if you just believe in my concept, I said, there's 3 million homes in the Philippines. It's a backlog. I said, you don't have to put the farm on the land. You can put it on the rooftop. And I said, housing is a financial business, and so is solar. So why don't we come together? As you know, the guy has a good heart. So he was very supportive. That we went up to put up a company together. But now he's out. I bought the entire company, and I really thank him for giving me all that support. The technology, solar technology, it was all his. He made it happen. The lithium battery and all that. And then for the anything about houses for low income, I know that. I know. So we put it together.
So there are a lot of hungry entrepreneurs out there, right? A lot of people who naturally become entrepreneurs, somebody who stumbles upon it. And it's just about taking that leap of faith, right? Saying, I will start small. I don't have to start big, but then I will learn. But how important is it to have a partner along this journey?
You have to be careful. Well, I'm lucky because at an early age, I was able to be given some advice by the late Henry C. Mr. C told me that the secret is how you know people. And he says that if, you know, by looking at them, you would know whether you want to shake hands with them or not. And then I said, oh my God, is that inborn? And then said, no, it's a skill. So you have to do a trial and error. And I was 21 then, and I was really, really practicing that For young people, I always share this. It's not a skill. It's not an inborn talent. You've got to do it. You got to put it in your heart that you look at the body language, and then what you do is you validate it through friends.
So you first make a judgment yourself, then you try understanding from other people if they feel the same way.
Yeah, and also you read body language book.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
But then, wait, don't ask my age, but that's from 21 till now. I can really look at people and say, in fact, I'm known for that I have some close friends and say, what do you think of that? And I said,
Oh,
no.
okay.
So in the world, like a lot, when you were in marketing, we meet a lot of people. Sometimes when you meet a lot of people, you talk to a lot of them. I have the benefit of just passing through a person when I just say I start smiling, and then I just go to another person. I have that kind of advantage.
Was he your first strongest mentor, you think, because he said this? And maybe he was not somebody you went back to advice very often, but this one advice seems to have stayed with you for a long time.
Because it has the biggest impact.
Yeah?
It has the biggest impact. And to where I am now, it has a lot of impact because I have never been fooled.
Yeah?
Yeah. So that no swindling, no nothing.
That's a very big statement, right? Because all of us get fooled all the time. I mean, that's amazing to say that.
Yes. And my company has no case at all. It's different when the other person tries to grab my property. That's me. That's them. But for me to sign an agreement with you, that means I totally looked at you and really like you, and then we signed an agreement. So because of that, when we start, even with that, I'm still careful. I don't save on lawyers.
Uh-huh.
I have a lot of lawyers. So after I do some partnership, I would get the best minds to craft a legal document, so that the time we sign an agreement, we'll be friends forever. So I've been lucky also with that. But first you choose the right one, right?
That sounds like really solid advice. I think that's very different advice that I've heard, right? I've not heard what you've said. I think we all say it in different ways. The best kind of way I've heard what you framed it is gut feeling. But it sounds like you said this is not gut feeling. This is something you have to keep practicing and learning.
Yeah, it's not gut feel. No, you don't. Sometimes you make mistakes on gut feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Emma. It was great speaking with you.